I had tried to learn English before, but I was never successful. This time around, it was different. My English improved significantly. It actually made a huge difference. I became fluent in English by myself, basically right here in this room. What is going on, guys? It's Radek here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're doing great. I think I have a very interesting video for you today, guys, because I'm gonna talk about how I became fluent in English without living in an English-speaking country. I'm gonna cover 5 most important things, in my opinion, that I did that allowed me to achieve this. Now, I think it's going to be beneficial for everyone who wants to improve their English, not just for people who don't live in an English-speaking country. If you live in the States or in the UK, you're gonna benefit from watching this video as well. But before we dive into the video, I wanna mention 4 very important details. 1, my wife is not a native English speaker and I don't use English at home. 2, I don't have any English-speaking friends that I could hang out and practice with. 3, I don't use English at work. I work full-time here where I live and my job has nothing to do with speaking English. Some of you may have heard that I work as an online personal trainer and I coach people in English, which is true, but I only started doing it when my English was pretty good. And 4, I've never lived in an English-speaking country. I've been to the States one time in my life. I spent a week in New York with my wife 2 years ago, but that's it. So I think I can honestly say that I became fluent in English by myself, basically right here in this room. Yes, later on I started getting some help. I started practicing with a tutor. I started chatting with fellow English learners, but my English was pretty good at that point. So with all that being said, let's dive right into the video. Number 1, I became insanely consistent with learning English. I dare say I became pretty obsessed with this goal, with becoming fluent in English. And I think that these 2 things usually go hand in hand, right? If you're obsessed with doing something, you're usually pretty consistent with it, right? And 2 things actually helped me here. 1, I found my why. I had tried to learn English before, but I was never successful. But this time around, it was different because I knew exactly what I needed my English for. I had a strong why, which I think sparked that obsession. And I know it sounds cliched and corny because everyone talks about it, right? Start with why. You need to know your why, find your why. But I think there is merit to it and it really helped me. So I had my why, right? I discovered my why. And I still needed a system that would help me stay on track and move toward my goal without feeling overwhelmed. So I found a method that I tweaked a little bit to fit my needs, and I called it the windless method. Now, I don't want to go into detail here because I've made a video about the windless method. People loved the idea, so you can check it out later. I'll link it up in the description. Or better still, you can download my free 5-day course, Consistency Equals Fluency, where you will not only learn about the windless method, but you'll also find your why. It will help you discover your vision and find the reason why you want to learn English. It's absolutely free, and yeah, it will help you build a great foundation for becoming an incredible English speaker. So the link will be in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can also check it out. I highly recommend it. Number 2, I stopped consuming content in my native language almost altogether. Everything I watched, read, or listened to had to be in English. The only exception was when I watched something like a movie with my wife. I still tried to persuade her to watch it in English, which sometimes got me into trouble because she was like,
"Are you kidding me? I'm not watching it in English."
Which I get it, right? It was not her goal, and yeah, she just wanted to unwind and relax after a long week. So yes, I get it, right? I didn't have any hard feelings. She's been incredibly supportive of me throughout this journey, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. But every time I got to watch something by myself, it was in English. So my 2 favorite TV shows are number 1, 2.5 Men. I spent a lot of time practicing using the shadowing technique, repeating after the actors from that show, and I loved it. And the second one, which is actually my all-time favorite TV show, it's The Office. I also started reading books in English, and my favorite ones are Winning by Tim Grover. It's an incredible book that changed a lot, especially when it comes to my mindset. I really need to make a separate video about this book. And number 2 is the Harry Potter series. I read all the books 2 times, and they're actually on the shelf right behind me. So yeah, I also switched all my devices from my native language to English because everyone was talking about it, right? If you want to become fluent in English, you need to switch your phone to English and things like that. But to be quite frank with you, I don't think it had that big of an impact on my English, and it's definitely not in the top 10 things that you should do to become fluent in English, but that's just my 2 cents. Number 3, I stopped listening to music during my workouts and started listening to podcasts instead. It may seem like a small, insignificant change, but it actually made a huge difference. I worked out 3 to 4 times per week for anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half. So let's say I spend around 5 hours every week in the gym, which seemed like a very reasonable and fair number. So let's calculate this together. 5 hours every single week times 4 weeks in a month, which is, yes, I probably shouldn't be using a calculator for such simple math, but stick with me here. So 5 times 4 equals 20 hours a month. And we have 12 months in a year times 12. And it comes to 240 hours of listening practice a year, which is a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that listening to music in English is bad, right? Or that you shouldn't do it. All I'm saying is that, like, for me, it made a lot more sense to listen to podcasts, especially the ones where there were like 2 hosts, or there was a host and a guest, and they had this like back and forth conversation. I really believe that this would actually give me a lot more bang for my buck. So that's why I decided to listen to podcasts instead of music during my workouts. Number 4, I started believing it was possible. I come from a small village in Poland where nobody I know can speak English, at least not fluently. So it was very difficult for me to believe that I can pull this off. So I started working on my mindset, and which, by the way, guys, this is incredibly important. If you want to achieve something, whether it's like becoming fluent in English or any other goal, if you don't fix your mindset first, it will always be that limiting factor for you, right? It will always be hindering your progress, right? This will be the number one thing that holds you back. There is a great quote, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So if you don't believe that you can achieve your goal, you will never achieve it. And on the other hand, if you believe that you can achieve something, you are way more likely to actually achieve it. So yeah, if you struggle with any limiting beliefs when it comes to learning English, check out the description. You can download my free mindset changer. It will help you. This is actually what I used, right? This is the method that I used to get rid of my limiting beliefs. So yeah, feel free to check it out. It will really help you. If you don't fix your limiting beliefs, they will always be your limiting factor. One of my biggest limiting beliefs was that if I don't live in an English speaking country, I will never become fluent. So my job was to find someone who had achieved this goal that I wanted to achieve, right? To find that tangible proof that it's possible, because I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know anyone who had achieved that. And I want to give a quick shout out to Anna from English Fluency Journey, because I stumbled upon one of her videos and she kind of proved it, not only to me, but to all of us English learners, that you can become fluent in English. You can achieve native-like fluency without living in an English-speaking country. She achieved an incredible level of English living in Ukraine. So from that point, I knew it was possible. I was aware that it would take me a lot more time and it would require a lot more effort to become fluent in English without living in the US or in the UK, but I was okay with it. What mattered for me was to achieve my goal, and I didn't really care how long it would take me. Number 5, I started doing things I didn't feel ready or prepared for. There's a great quote by Joseph Campbell: "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek," which means the progress you're chasing is hidden behind the actions you're shying away from. So at some point, I realized that doing the shadowing technique in the comfort of my room by myself wouldn't give me the results I wanted. And don't get me wrong, I love the shadowing technique and I owe a lot of my progress to it. And I still do it to this day, but I knew I had to start coming out of my shell a little bit and doing things I was afraid of or things that were outside of my comfort zone. By the way, this is exactly how you level up and what you should do if you feel stuck in your English learning journey. Make a list of things that you know will help you improve, but for whatever reason, you are afraid of doing them. So whether it's joining a speaking club, hiring a tutor, or finding a speaking buddy, pick one thing and start doing it. And this is exactly how you break any plateau, and this is what I did. Jordan Peterson once said, "If you're not willing to be a fool, you can't become a master." And I think it's really important to remember because whatever activity you take up, you're going to suck at first, right? You have to suck at it before you get better. That's how it works, and there is no way around it. So I started challenging myself. I booked my first ever lesson with a tutor in English. It was an English native speaker. It was, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of 2021. I joined a 30-day speaking challenge where I had to post a video of myself speaking English every day for 30 days. I also started chatting with fellow English learners, and by challenging myself like that, my English improved significantly. So remember guys, a life of no risk is a life of very little reward. So there you have it guys, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the support, I really appreciate that. Don't forget to check out the description for all the free gifts that I have for you. There are really amazing resources that you can use to improve your English, to improve your mindset and all that good stuff. So yeah, don't forget to check it out and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.